In this video, we're gonna talk about 5 different ways you can use to improve your debugging skills. So when it comes to debugging, it really doesn't matter if you're front end, back end, or it does not matter what you're doing. Okay, um, you could be doing server management. Now you could be a database engineer. The 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 principles I'm going to talk about apply to everyone, whether you're a beginner or you're an advanced person. So the first one is, and this one goes right over people's head most of the time, and that is um, understanding the problem. Okay, you may think you understand the problem, you may think you do, you may think just because you have read the task in Jira, you have understood what it really wants. But a lot of the time, that's not true. The reason it's not true is because it's not written by you. Most of the time, when the tasks come, they're written by someone else in their own words. They put their own emotion, their own understanding into it. Their vocabulary is not same as your vocabulary. So there is a difference in meaning what they're saying. So what I suggest you do is to rewrite it. When you rewrite it, you will understand it way better. That's step number one. So you have to do it. It doesn't matter, even if you spotted something yourself and need to sort it out. So you have to write it down in your own words. Don't try to be clever with it. Don't try to show off your English. Don't try to use fancy words. Write it for yourself personally, so you understand it. That's step number one. So once you have a clear picture of what you're trying to do, you want to try and memorize it a little bit. You want to try just getting it in your head. You don't have to memorize it word by word, but you have to have some visual representation or a mental model of what you're trying to do. When you do that, you're gonna disconnect yourself from wherever you have written the task. Now it's in your head. Okay, then you can then the solution will come eventually, regardless of where you are. Okay, because it has become a mental model. You'll memorize that problem. That's step number 2. You don't always have to do this, but it works. Just keep that in mind. That's number 2. Number 3 is that you should try and isolating the problem. What I mean by isolation is that you take the bigger problem. Well, you take the bigger problem and you're trying to find the smallest piece. Try to extract a small piece of that big problem. Okay, so it's not connected to other things. It becomes an independent problem. It's still the same problem, but it's just independent. You have extracted it from that huge code base. Okay, so you're not influenced by other services that are running in that code base. You're not scared or concerned about how you're going to break the other parts of the system. Okay, so you have isolated your problem. Okay, that's very important. If you don't isolate, you're going to be concerned about many other things that the code base brings, and then you have 15 things to be concerned about instead of one. So isolate, focus on just that particular problem. Write it down what the problem is, or try to pick a snippet from the bigger code base. Copy it elsewhere, try to run it, give it your own dependency where you can, and work that way. Obviously it's not so easy with bigger code bases, but that's another way to solve many problems. Then you have to figure out, if you're stuck, you have to figure out if there is a problem, well, where the problem really is. Is it a problem with your skill set? Is it a problem with third-party service? Is it the problem that you don't understand? Is it a problem that someone has not given you an introduction to the code base? You have to figure out what the problem really is. Okay, don't just um, um, get stuck and then just assume that you can resolve it. A lot of the times it's a particular issue, and then once you nail that issue, you can figure out that problem. Many times it's a skill issue. You know, if you have not worked with a particular library, then it's going to be a skill issue. A lot of times nobody has given you introduction of the system. You don't understand the bigger picture of the system, so you cannot work on it properly. Okay, so you need to figure out what the issue really is, where the problem is, why are you stuck. And last but not least is simply writing the problem, rewriting the problem. Okay, you know the rubber duck technique. You can obviously talk to the duck, or you can also write things down, you know, just writing down what you think, what are your thoughts. Okay, and try to create a picture, or just in your imagination try to see what's the perfect way to resolve this problem. Don't be stuck by a gap in your knowledge, just try to figure out what could be the best solution. Okay, try to figure out many best solutions. Don't be discouraged that you don't know certain things. Just think about the solution, write down the solution. A lot of time what happens, people will not even write the solution because they're scared that they miss they miss knowledge in particular thing. So for example, if I said to you, why are you writing this in PHP? Okay, you can easily write that in Python. It is going to be much more efficient. And now if you don't understand the Python, you will not entertain my idea, you will simply ignore me. Same way, you should write the problem, and you should be unbiased and just rewrite the task in a couple of different ways, and a lot of times you will understand it more clearly, and you will come up not with the solution, any solution, but an efficient solution. But here you have to be very unbiased. You have to write, this is what I need to do, and this is how it can work. It's not 100%, it's more of an imagination thing, but it does work. So that's all I have for you today.